Welcome Linux enthusiasts. In this video, we'll be covering the basic Linux commands. If you missed our previous episodes, please click on this link. Let's just begin the video without wasting much time. Let's talk about some basic commands in Linux which are basically used, and it's very important. So you should get your hands on here. So in the slide, we can see that there are commands which are displayed. We'll do the demo now. And let's talk about some commands here. The first command is ls command. Basically, if you want to list down the directory and files which are present for any directory, then ls command is the one. So if you just type ls command, you will see the directories or files contents basically which is available in my present working directory. When I say present working directory, what does it mean is where currently I am located in the file system. So pwd command is being used to see the present directory which is where I am right now in the file system. So you can see this is the path here /home/parallels. So this slash was nothing but that root directory we have already spoken, and then inside slash there is a directory called home directory, and for any users the directories are being used which are already created when you create the user under /home. So for parallels, the directory is being created under /home called /parallels, which is my present working directory, pwd. And there is one more command called ll command. Basically, this is nothing but an alias of ls-al. And you can see alias, there is a command called alias command. With the command of alias, you can see alias means how can you create another command of a command representing a command. So see, this is what Linux gives you facility to create that, which Windows does not usually, where you can create your customized commands and you can play around with it. Yeah, so this you can see, yes, ll command is basically nothing but ls-alf. So ll displays you with the variety of things. For example, what is the file type, permissions that we will be discussing in the permissions, then what is the numbers and the primary group and the users and primary group, then size, then when it was created, the timestamp and everything. So it stores that information in detail. And if we do ls-R, it will show me the recursive directories and files content which is present inside each and every directory. So let's say I would want to only see the content inside my directory, my dir directory, So I'll say ls-R my dir. So there is inside my dir there are two files, which is file1.txt and file.txt. So if you would want to see the recursive contents which is present inside my directory, you can execute command ls-R. Now you must be thinking, how do you get to know which option to use when, right? So if you're confused about which option is being used for what command, so usually any command, I'll tell you this, any command which is being used in Linux is written like this: command, then space, then hyphen, then you can say options, and then arguments. So this is the pattern for writing any command in the Linux. If you look at this above command, we use ls is the command here, option was R, and argument was the directory name, which is my dir. And if you want to see what all other options available for the ls command, there is a command called man command, which shows the manual for any command. So man ls can tell you, it basically tells the definition what a particular command is, which is ls in this case. So it says that ls is nothing but a list directory contents, and the description of it you can read through that, and these are the options which are available. So we used option -R, so we'll see it here. So it says either you can use -R or you can use --recursive to list the subdirectories recursively manner for any of the directories. So if you do the same command, recursive, so you will see the same output what we got with the -R option. So you can read through the manual for any command. If you are struggling with what options to try with, you can just do that Google up. So there is no need for exactly to remember the exact commands. you can always take references of the manual command, or you can take the references from the Google or any other public page which is available for the commands, right? So in Linux, it's you can start through the commands and then see things, how's it going, and then whatever, there are a lot of commands which are being not daily used, so you cannot remember all of it, so it's always good to take the references. It's fine. Now let's talk about cd command, or before that let's talk about how to clear this interface. Currently I'm messed up, ending my cursor with the last. Now I would want to clear this screen and want to go on top. So there is a command called clear command. This command will clear out the interface for me, the terminal that I am currently using, and it has cleared it up. There is another shortcut of this which we'll talk once we'll fill this interface again. Before that, let's talk about cd command. Cd is the change directory. Cd stands for change directory, which is basically used to traverse from one location to another location. So we'll talk about that traversing of absolute path and recursive path in the coming topics, but for now I just want you to show how to go from one location to another location. So currently I am in home parallels. I see there is a directory called mydir. Let's go inside cd mydir. So now I am currently in the mydir. So if you would want to see where you are currently present in the file system, you can run command pwd. Now pwd will give you the current present working directory for you, that currently you are at this location. And now I can see there are two types of file present. How can I identify these are the regular files? ls-al, as we spoke earlier, that these are the file called regular files because this does not have any representation of any characters. So hyphen represents the regular files. So these are just the text files. Okay. Now let's create files and see how do you create the file. So there is a command called touch which used to create a file. Let's say file1, file2.txt. Now touch command creates a blank file. Blank file in the sense there is no data inside it. You see 0 bytes, there is no data, but you would want to add some data. We will talk about editors which you can use and put some content inside it. Before that, let's read the files. You know how to read the file. So there is a command called cat command which is basically used to read the content from any file. So let's see if any of our file has content. Yes, file1.txt, which is in my current present directory, file1.txt, it has a content called this is a file1. So we have read the content via cat command. Now similarly, there is one more shortcut of creating a file, not a blank file, without any editors. You know, you can use cat command to do the same. Cat, then redirections, and then let's say file1.txt. So there are two types of redirection. One is single redirection, one is double redirections. Single redirection means whatever the content which is already present in the file1.txt, it will overwrite it. But double redirection means it will append the content whatever you are going to write now. So let's try to overwrite and see the difference. Now currently this file1.txt has content called this is a file1. It's a text written inside it, right? So now let's see this. We'll say hi, this is Himanshu, your trainer, StarAgile. Now I'm done with my texting by writing. I would want to save this content. So you press Ctrl D. When you press Ctrl D and you want to read the content of that file 1.txt, you see earlier this was having a content, this is a file 1. Now it has a content called hi, this is Himanshu, your trainer at StarAgile, which means it has overwritten my contents. But I did not want that overwritten. I wanted it to be append in this case. So let's see how to do that. You can use double redirections, which will basically not overwrite but append the content inside the file1. File1.txt. How are you guys doing? Okay. Okay, I wrote you guys doing, that's fine. So let's save this and let's read the content. So So you can see this content, whatever I wrote, it has already appended here. So that's how you can use the cat command in order to read and in order to append or put the content inside a file. That's how you can use it. Now let's clear this screen without using clear command. There is a command shortcut called Control L, which will clear the screen. So either clear command you can use, or you can use Control L the same way. Okay. So cd command. Let's change the directory again. I am currently in my dir. I want to go to the previous directory. So my present directory is my dir. My parent directory is /home/parallels, and I want to go back. So I'm just going back. We will discuss this in absolute and relative path. What is dot dot and what is dot means. Okay. I am back currently in the home parallels. Okay. Let's see the contents again. All right. Now let's do some copy operations and see how does it go. So are there any files? Let's see. I want to find files in the current regular files. Oops, it is giving me in the present. Okay, it's giving all the type of files. It's fine. I'll just use it like this. Let's say if this has any contents, example.txt. Okay, so this is example.txt file, which is inside this present directory home parallels, and it has this content. Okay, I want to copy this file example.com into my dir. Let's say there's a directory where I would want to copy it. So earlier we saw the graphical representation of it. So in the graphical representation you see the home here and home parallels. Example.com is this. Okay, example.com is this, and I would wanted to copy it from here to my dir. So my dir is this. So similarly, like we use, right, in Windows we copy Control C and Control V. That also works here, but we are typically learning Linux, and Linux for cloud platforms, for open source platforms, for our own portfolio to improvise. That's where we are learning. So graphical representation users you can anyways do, because you are already familiar, I believe, that of Windows machines and stuff. You have already used it, but we will use a Linux terminal so that you get good hands-on the Linux side, how to perform that copy operations and stuff. So let's do copy. There is a command called cp command, which is being used to copy the files. Cp example.txt. I would want to copy it in the my dir. Let's say. Okay, so now what has happened is my example.txt is not here now. If I try to ls, okay, it is there because I just copied it. I did not cut it. And if I see, there would be one more copy present inside my dir directory. Yes, earlier this was not there, but now this is created. This has copied over. So you can see this, the timestamp 6 January 1635 it came. That's what the time is currently. So this is recently being copied over. Okay. Now let's see if you would want to copy a directory. How do you copy a directory? So let's see what all directories do we have. I have a directory called my dir, and I would want to copy it. Before that, we can see cut and paste also. Copy paste we have already seen. For cut and paste, there is a command called mv command, which is basically used to move the content from a location to another location, and it will delete the original location file. Basically, it just moves it up, it just cuts it. So the same, let's see example.txt. I want to move it inside test1. Okay, now you won't find example.txt here. Reason being, we have already moved this example.com inside test1 directory. That's why you are getting an error called ls cannot access example.txt, no such file or directory, which means there is no such file of example.txt or a directory with the name example.txt not present here. Okay, but if you look at test that we have copy paste, the cut paste, you see the example.txt is now inside test1 directory. Similarly, you can use mv command to rename the files. So let's say I want to rename this example.com to what I want to rename, test1, and let's say new example.com or new example.txt. Okay, so now you see this ls-al test1, you see new underscore example.txt. Earlier this was inside ls test1 example.txt. Now it is new underscore example.txt because we have already renamed this. If you look at the syntax of mv command, so mv command basically says the source and the destination. Source means of which you would want to rename it. So this is the file that you would want to rename it, and to what you would want to rename it is the location. So you have to pass the location. Without location it will not do, because either the file could be in the present directory or it could be some other location in the Linux systems. Until you provide that location to the system, it will not understand that which location you would want that file to be modified or renamed, right? So that's what mv does actually. If you would want to, let's say, remove, how will you remove it? There is a command called rm. I want to remove test1 inside test1 new example.txt. It has removed it. Now if you want to see, you will not find that new underscore example.txt because the file is already removed. There are two options basically used in cp also and rm also. rm-r, which is recursive, and f is forcefully. So if you don't want system to tell you or ask you that, no, are you sure you want to delete the file, then it will ask you for the consents, and if you pass the consent to it, okay, let's agree and delete it, then only it does. But let's say if you want it to be forcefully done, then you can use option F, which will automatically delete the file without being taken the consent from the user. So let's say I want to delete. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so rm directly does not delete a directory. Okay, rm is for deleting a file, but I want to delete a directory. How to use rm command in case of deleting a directory? You can use rm-rf test1. Now it will delete it. So with the option -r and f, you can use it to delete it. So let's read about that. I have opened man rm, which will tell me what rm does. So you can see this -f is used for forcefully performing any action. So it ignores non-existent files and arguments, never prompt. It never prompts you for asking that, are you sure you would want to delete it? You just go straightforward, goes and then delete it. And R is for recursive, remove directories and their consents recursively. So for deleting a directory, you need to use -r. But to file, there is no need for using any of the -r. Or you want to delete recursively inside, there are a lot of files. Let's say we have a directory called mydir. There are four files, and I want to delete. I don't want to delete the directory, but I want to delete all the files inside this. So let me see what it does. Okay, it does not delete that way. So I want to, let's say, all the files to delete it up. So it accepts the wildcard operations. You see here inside my directory there were 3 files, file1, file2 and file.txt. Now I wanted all of them to be deleted in one go. So what did I do is I just used star, which is the occurrence anything after file. So after file 1.txt was there, 2.txt was there, and just .txt was there. So it took all these three occurrences of these files and then it deleted up. So it chose all the files which comes after having something after file. So it deleted all these three, but it did not delete the directory. Now after rm command, let's talk about find command. Okay, let's clear this. Find command basically is being used to find anything. So example of find is, let's say, where this is how find command you can use. Okay, so which means I am applying a command called find, which will search inside a path where you would want to search a file. It's a nothing but a search operation with what arguments or options you are using. So I'm using an option called -name, which means delete or find the file which has the name called file.txt. So this will find it, but where I have to pass that, let's say in dot. Dot means current directory. We'll talk about that in directory absolute and relative paths, but it's you can just think like this, or if you get confused, so let's use this still. I want to find inside /home only, not go any further, and see if there is any file.txt present or not. Okay, so I see, yes, there is a file.txt which is present inside /home/himanshu1 file.txt. This location there is a file present, so it is able to search that file inside your Linux file hierarchy. Or let's say if you search with example.txt, so you see inside our current users home directory, home parallels, there is a file called under remote and mydir also. So mydir we are already playing with. So you see mydir has example.txt and it has find it to you. Now you see here there are few files which are not being accessible to the user because of permission issues, and it is giving you an error saying that permission denied, but you want to ignore those, because let's say this output is just a small output of 6 to 7 files, file paths. But what if there is a thousands of output and you would want only the convenient one, the relevant one only you would want? So how do you do that? So for this you can use an option. What it will do is the errors whatever came inside that search command, just send it to dev null. Dev null means it's like nothing but a garbage. Basically you are just sending all the permission, all the error based data inside that null. It's like a, you can think like a garbage where it stores it, kind of a trash, where it just push it up there, but it does not hold anything on the device, the storage. So if you look at this dev null, right, it's just a dev null. So if we see the type of it, it's a character type file, dev null. So with this redirection you can send the errors to this file. So it will be sent to this character. There is no storage is being created because you see the storage is there is no storage such things. Is the major and minor number that we have already discussed, but you can only get the output here. The errors will not be shown here. So that's how you can use these redirections. It's a good trick actually. Okay, so let's do this. I want to find the files which are modified within 7 days. How do I find that? So let's see, I do this /home find, then m type, then 7. So this will find me the files which were created more than 7 days, within 7 days, sorry, it was modified within 7 days. So how can you see this? Okay, this was the file /home/john, or this is the file gnupg. So let's see, .gnupg. Okay, so this was modified recently within 7 days. That's why still it is shown under our output. You see there is a slight difference. There is a dot which is being used. A dot is represent the hidden directories or hidden files. So for example, if I say ls, where I am right now, I am in home parallels. Okay, I say ls, these are the directories or files which are not hidden. Okay, but there is a file which is hidden also. How do I see all the hidden files? ls-al command. So a will show me all type of files. It's hidden or non-hidden, doesn't matter. So you see dot profile is there. Now there are a lot of dot files and directories also, but which was not showing up in the ls command. Why? Because ls command by default does not show up the hidden directories or files, but with the help of -a you can basically, you can see it. Let's create a hidden directory or file. Let's say I create file1.txt. Okay, now you see ls, you will not see this file1.txt created because this was created with the prefix called dot, which is a hidden. But I want to see this, so I can do this dot ls-al will show it dot file1.txt. So this is how you can make things hidden. Let's say you have an image, which the image you don't want other people to see it, or some videos or contents that you don't want people to see it. You can hide that content by adding a dot in front of it, and then it will automatically be hidden until somebody goes to the command line and then see it. It won't be able to see. For example, this file1.txt, if I go in the folder, you will not see it here, the file1.txt. Why? Because it's a hidden file, right? That's why. So normal, any user who is accessing the UI for you, your system, let's say somebody has hacked your system or somebody has taken your system and want to see the data that it is present in your system. So it can open this architecture of your files and then see, okay, these are the files present. But there was a file which was confidential to you only, and you have created with dot in front of it, which means it makes it hidden. Another user won't be able to see it, or a user which logs in with your account also won't be able to see it until that person specifically wants to see all the files which are hidden also. Then only you'll be able to see the hidden files. So that's the advantage of creating a hidden files. Okay, now let's see. I want to find all the files which has .txt as a suffix of it. So let's say find, where I want to find is /home -name star.txt. So these are the files, only .txt file you will see, no other files you will see. Okay, so by this command you can get this. Now if you want to see how to see which command I executed previously, you can use up and down arrow. Up arrow key will display you all the commands that you have been executing so far, and down arrow will show you, if you press it, the next command whatever you executed. And if you want to see the history of all the commands that you have run so far, so you can type history command. So history command will basically execute and show you the commands that you have so far executed, which will help you to track down or make it easy for you. Sometimes what happens is you would want to directly execute a command which was run at some number, let's say 957. I wanted to execute this command again, but I'm so lazy to type it again, but I know the number of it, which is 957. What I can do is I can just do exclamation mark and then 957 and then enter. So this will execute the same command which was executed at number 957, and you see the content out of it. So that's kind of an easy trick for you guys to see how to execute a command without typing it fully, just by checking the reference from the history commands. Okay, now let's see. I want to find and delete the files which are older than 30 days. So there is a use case you have, but how will you execute that? With the help of find command. So you can use find command. Let's say find home, and then I want to type only the files which are m type plus 30, and I want to execute rm and then this. So I won't run this command because I don't want my data to be loose. That's why, but I'll explain this command to you. What it is doing is basically it is finding the files which are present under /home directory, and then only the type of file which means that the file which are only the file type, and then the timestamp of those files are 30 days older with the help of mtime. And then what you want to execute is rm command to delete what files. So the output of this would be the input of it. So this, if I execute just this part, okay, so you will see all these file will be displayed to me. But now I wanted it to be removed. So this output, one by one output will be shown like this, and then ending like this. So this will basically take it one command rm, and then let's say this one, and delete it, the next one, the next one, the next one, like this. It will delete all the files which are older than 30 days. So that is one use case you have it, and you can pursue like this. Now there is some other shortcuts also. Let's say if you don't remember the complete command, then what you can do is, let's say for example clear command, we don't know the clear command, let's say C and L, we know the starting two digits, two characters of it. So then how do you find that? You can press tab. If you press once, which means if there is only one command which will be starting with CL, it will come. Otherwise press two times, so it will show you all the commands which starts with characters C and L. So you see double tap has shown me these are the commands which is present in my system and starts with CL. So which makes it easy for you, so that you can don't have to type the entire command with you. So that's how you can use double tap here. Now there is a command called WC command, which will be useful for counting the words and lines inside your file. So let's say I want to count lines inside my dir and example.txt. Okay, so it says there is a 9 lines, and let's verify, does it really have 9 lines? Yep, it does actually. This has taken the last line also, because that's an empty line, but it thinks like a line only to the system. That's why it has considered this line, because there was no data. However, the line was there in the file. Once we will use vi and vim editors, then we will see, okay, there is a gap there, but it has been treated as a line. Okay, now I want to count the characters. Let's see. So I can, so this is the command wc-c, which will show the count of character, which is 57. If you count all these characters, you will find it 57, like this. So the wc commands you can use like this, or there is another way to use it by using pipe. So what pipe does is, we'll talk about this when we'll discussing the grep command. So whatever the output of this command, it will take as an input and then pass it to the another command. So this would nothing be like this, but in a different way. It's a different way of writing. So this is called a pipe. A pipe is basically being, that is different of that pipe type file what we discussed, which is being used for the data to be sent into a pipe and then consume it later. It's a temporary storage, not a permanent storage. But this pipe is basically used for input and output. You can take the output of a command and pass it to the input of another command. So that's how you can use WC commands. Now let's use some practical examples, like creating a directory. So you can use command mkdir. It can create a directory for you. And if you see, so you see this. Why are you seeing this test one, a dot and double dot? Because it always shows that, it does not show the directory. But if I do like this, okay, then also it not show. The reason being, I am inside that current directory. Let's say parallel test one. Okay. Okay. So actually there is no content, and this dot basically represents the directory itself, the test one, and double dot represents the parent directory of test one. So the parent directory of test one is nothing but /home/parallels. Why do I say that? Currently I'm in /home and this test directory is inside parallels and then test1. So the parent directory of this would be, because it's inside /home/parallel and then test1. If this is the present directory for this is the parent directory of it. That's how Linux understands the file system. So dot represents the present directory and double dot represents the parent directory. Okay, so now I've created a directory called test1. You can use command rmdir to remove the directory. If it is an empty, okay, I have to wait. Okay, where I am right now. Okay, I have to go inside parallel. Okay, now rmdir test1. Okay, since the directory was empty, I was able to remove it. But let's say if we create some content inside this directory, touch, I'm creating file.txt, and okay, now I'm trying to remove the directory. It says directory not empty. So until the directory is not empty, it will not work. So rmdir will only be used to remove the directories which are currently in empty situations. So how do you delete the directory which are not empty? You can use same rm-r command. So R will recursively remove all the files and contents which are present in the directory, and forcefully also don't ask me that do you really want to delete it or not, just go ahead and delete it, you know. So that's what F is being used for. So rm-r has done its job and now you don't see that directory because it has already deleted. All right, so let's move a little further. We can use redirections not just by the cat command to add some data into a file, but there is a command called echo command. Whatever you type it here, it will print it for you. So let's say I typed echo Himanshu, hi, this is Himanshu. So it has printed as it is to me. Now I would want it to be redirected into a file, let's say file1.txt. So if I see the content of file1.txt, I will see that content present, because this is how you can also append or override the contents inside a file by using the redirection symbols or options. You can use this echo command. Now let's see, we have done this. Similarly, let's try and see StarAgile trainer. I would want to append it, not just do this. So it will append it for me. If I see this file1.txt, see, it has appended for me. Now it is showing that there is one more echo entry that you have done, which is hi, this is StarAgile trainer. So which has also appended in the file1.txt. Okay, so there is one more important command we are going to talk about, which is called xargs command. Which are typically being used for some complex operations, and people who basically use a lot of scripts, they are basically prefer to use xargs command, which is quite nice command. And what it does is you can run this command in parallel, which can be faster in running, and it can does the operations for you. For example, let's say I would want to find something inside desktop, parallel shared folder or something. Or let's say I would want to find something on desktop. If I have -type file -name star.gpg. Okay, I have a file which is present on my desktop. Let's see this. If it is there, I open this desktop. Okay, this is the file, I have it. Let's see. So this is the image. You see the image over here. It's an AI image. Now this image, I would want to crop it, or let's say I want to reduce the resolution of this image. I want to compress it a little bit. So how do I use that? With the help of xargs command. So xargs command here will do its job. What you have to do is use the same pipe. Why are we using pipe? Because we want this output. This command gives the output. This is the output it is going to give. Take this output as an input to the xargs command. Now xargs, you need some options. For example, -n1. I'll explain what are these options are. 4 and then hyphen I. Basically, hyphen N is specifically for that Xargs will process one file at a time. So I pass hyphen N 1, which means only one file will be processed. Then hyphen P will say that tells Xargs to run 4 processes in parallel in order to compress this file. So how many processes you would want to do its job, you can tell this hyphen P. Then hyphen I is basically just to pass it up and then convert it the size you would want it to be. So it's basically send the list of all the JPG to the further operations that we are basically doing it. So you can do like this and then convert and this and then resize it. I would want to resize this with what size? 100 by 100. 100 by 100 and then this completely. So now before executing this command, I would want to show the content of this file basically. So let's see. You see the size of this file is 230791 bytes. Now once we compress this further, the size will reduce. So let's execute our command now. Okay, one more thing between this, you see there is interruptions that I did. So let's say you wrote a command which was not correct, or you would want some other modifications, or you would want to execute some other commands. Before executing that command, you can always interrupt your signal, send the interruption to the system saying that, okay, please interrupt this session, whatever I am typing, just go to the next line and then I would want to type it again from fresh. So you can use Control C in order to interrupt that and provide us interrupt signal to the system. So it will interrupt that command and then it will take it further. So now let's copy this command and then paste it up and then let's execute. Okay, it says Xargs --help for more information. So let's check if our command is correct. Desktop -find Xargs -n -p 4 -I convert -resize 100 by 100. Yep, that looks good to me. Okay, let's see if it did or not. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's try to I don't want to copy paste this command again. What I would want to see is there any shortcut which we can use? Whatever the command I typed before, I would want to search it and then execute it. So Control R is basically used to reverse search with the command history that we have already executed. So Control R, if you press, it gives you something like this prompt. Now I am typing the command ls. Okay, so as soon as I typed ls, it has given me the very last command which I executed with ls. So that's it. Okay, so the size is not yet changed. Let me see it again if there is any problem of it, or I tried this resize before as well. If you want to do a further reverse search, you can keep on pressing Control R until you get the desired output of the command that you have executed before. So you can do something like this. Okay, so the problem here is that there was no space. Okay, it's just a warning. Let's see if it has reduced the size of the file. Yep, it did. Earlier it was 230791 and now it is this. There is one more command where you can see the directory usage, du-sh. It's actually quite nice command. So it will only give me the size of any directory, so that you don't have to be dependent on ls-al command. So you can use du command, which will tell me the disk, not the disk, the directory usage. So that's how the use case of one command comes where we are executing the another command. That's how typically you may also get into situations where you are dealing with one command, but you have come up with an operations or use case saying that no, I would want it to be like this, so easy to do it. But then there should be another command, or there should be another way to achieve that. Similarly, we got through here that we would want it to be, see the size, just the size, not the other information like permissions and stuff, but just the size I was interested in. and I got this size here. Now let's reduce a bit more and see what happens. Let's say 50 by 100 and du-asset. See, it is reducing the size. Now earlier it was 220 KB, now it's 216 KB. So you see the file is keep on compressing, keep on reducing the size. But still, if I try to open the file and see if it opens up, it does. Maybe it does. Yeah, it does. Yes, but you won't find the resolution, so you cannot judge it. But the under the hood, the resolution has reduced because we have intentionally compressed it. Basically, reduce the resolution, not the compression, but the resolution has reduced. Yeah. Okay. This was quite interesting. There are few commands which will be interesting to know, called grab command. Let's say I would want to grab something. It's like a control F in our PDF. You want to search any particular string inside your PDF, you do control F and then you type a word and then you get it up, right? In Linux, Ubuntu also, or any other flavor also, you can do the same using grep command. It basically goes into that file, whatever the content you would want to search with it, and then once what is the content you want to fetch, it just fetches that particular content. So currently I did cat file1.txt. I see there are 2 lines. I want to basically grep what? StarAgile. I want to grab StarAgile. Okay. Currently I did not get anything from here. But what if I do this? Okay. StarAgile. Okay, there is a not there. Fine. So now it has done its job. Now what option -I was to case insensitive. So by default, when you are searching something, that has to be matched with the exact sensitivity. So Linux is very sensitive about it. If a command, so all the commands you will find in Linux all are in small letters, not in the capital letters. That's by default. Now similarly, if you would want to search something and you pass the exact comment or exact pattern of a match, then only it will be able to find it. But if you don't want it to do a case sensitive thing, then you can use -I, which will ignore the case sensitivity for you and still be able to find the information for you. So let's say if I would want to find a line which has keyword called trainer, so it has done its job and it's able to give me the answer. Okay, hi, this is StarAgile trainer, and I got that line from it. So grab command is basically useful if you would want to search something from the file. So that's where you can use grab command. Also, you can use grab command to searching the directories. Let's say, okay, so inside my present directory, I would want to search if there is any directory called mydir present or not. What if I would have given capital M? It will not find me because Linux is very strict about the case sensitivity. So in order to do that, I have to use -I so that it will be able to fetch the my directory contents for me. Doesn't matter if it is small or caps, this I will ignore that sensitivity and fetch that information. Now let's talk about some command called awk and awk commands. So what it does is basically it's quite nice command. There is one more command we will utilize the awk on top of it, psaux command. Psaux will tell you the processes which are running in your system. Processes means CPU which is performing some actions on your system. PS command will tell you that. So with the process ID. So if you look at, I want to see the starting part of it, psaux. So I can pass head. Head will tell me the top 5 lines or 10 lines for me. So it will, head command is another command which will basically give me the top line. So here I can see the header. So this header you see, PID is nothing but a process ID, where the second column contains the process ID. It's a columnar format, then CPU percentage, memory percentage, then your other memories and terminals and command states and everything. So what I would want is I want to fetch the second column. How do I do this? PS-AUX, and then let's say I do a awk -f, which is nothing but this print $2. Okay, wait, ux grep into awk -2 print. Okay, so awk, and then you pass on which column you would want to print, and then you can print it. Now what I want is, let's say I want to sort this, so I can use sort command. So this pipe can be used multiple times with multiple outputs, passing it as an input and then further inputs. So sort command will sorting it based on the numbers and then characters. And then similarly you can provide unique command. Unique command will only provide you the unique output. It will remove the duplicates for you. So that's what the use case of the unique commands. So that's about the basic commands we would wanted to discuss. So let's talk about file paths that we have been discussing about, how to access those file paths and what are the absolute and relative file paths. So if you look at the slides here, you can see it's written that slash is nothing but a root directory. That is, root directory means the top level domain, top level directory, which is a root directory slash, and dot represents the current directory that we have already spoken. Double dot represents the parent directory of the current directory. This tilted symbol basically represents the home directory of the current user. So let's say if you're logged in with user called John, so the home directory of the John user will be automatically represented as a tilt for John, right? Then hyphen is nothing but a previous working directory. So I'll explain like this. If you look at here, so this we have already spoken that slash is nothing but a root directory. That is fine. Now let's say in slash there is a directory called home that we have already been exploring, home parallels. Okay, so now in home there are other users, let's say slash John or let's say Himanshu. So there are 3 users. Now currently let's say if you are inside slash home slash parallel, this is your present directory. Let's say if you do pwd command and you get this output slash home slash parallel, which means you are inside slash home slash parallel directory. You would want to go to the let's say if you would want to go to John's directory, so you can use two paths to go there. One is called absolute and one is called relatives. So if we talk about absolute path is always starts from slash, which is a root directory. Okay, so absolute path always starts from slash. Relative path, no need to start with slash. You can start with any path. You can start with your parent path, you can start with your present path. So it does not require slash to be start with. So you can use dot and double dot in case of relative paths. So let's say if you would wanted to go to John directory from slash home slash parallel, so one way to go is via absolute path is you have to go always from top slash. Okay, then from slash go to home. Okay, then from home go to John. Okay, so this will be like cd, which is a change directory command that we have already spoken, slash home slash John. That's how you can reach. But you see this command is a little lengthy because you have to always start from slash. What if you don't want to use the absolute path? The use case of relative path came because you never want to use starting with slash if the path is so long. So the preferable way to go from parallel to John is just jump one parent directory up from parallel to home and then from home to John. So cd, then you say double dot, which means it will represent your parent directory, which is nothing but slash home, just slash home. And then once you are already in home, you can directly go to John. So that's how you can use the relative path in order to shift from one location to another location. So that is what it is explained here. And if you look at another slides, you see there are some examples which we are showing. I'll show the demo of it as well, just to understand better that how to use the absolute and relative path. So you can use this absolute path always starts from slash. You can see this. It's always starting from slash here. And then relative paths, if we talk about, so you're using dot and double dot, which is a current directory and a parent directory examples. And then there are some common directories and their paths which are available. So for example, slash, we have already spoken, this is a root directory. Example path is slash, using slash etc slash passwd. Then home directory for users slash home. So slash home slash user, whatever the user name is, and then documents and desktop and whatever, right? You can go. Similarly, slash etc is for the configuration directory. Slash var is for the variables, let's say syslogs and logs. User is for other system resources, temporary directory, and then device directories. So that's how you can use it, the directory base. Now let's talk about the demo of it and see how does it look like here. So currently I am in slash home slash parallels. I would want to see what all directories are present inside slash home. There are 5 directories present: Himanshu1, John1, parallels, and SFTP user. I would want to go inside John1. So one way is cd slash home slash John1. I cannot go because it does not allow me to go. What if I try sudo command and then it goes? Does it go? Let's try and see. It does not allow me to go there directly. But what if I am a root user? So let's say I would want to become a root, and then I would want to go to John, because for root user, we will talk in the user section that for root user there is no restrictions. It can go from anywhere to anywhere without any special permission needed. But for the normal user to access somebody's else directory is require a special permission. You can think like you have a locker with name Himanshu, you have another locker with name John. So the locker Himanshu can only be opened with the key which Himanshu contains, but the locker of John can only be opened with the keys that John holds it, right? So Himanshu should not be able to directly access with the John lockers, and then John should not be able to access the Himanshu's locker. So that's how the concept is, right? So that's how Linux restricts you to pursue the permissions here. So but root user in Linux, you can think like a super user. It has all the privileges. It does not require any additional privileges to do any of the jobs. So with the help of root user, I am seeing whoami is the command which can tell me which user I have currently logged in. So it's a root. To go to the John's directory, if I go, I am already inside, and if I would want to go to parallels directory, so let's say slash home slash parallels, this is the way to use absolute path. But this is so lengthy because we have to always start this with slash. What if we would want to use relative paths? Relative paths means you should not start with slash. You can start with dot or double dot or parent directory or present directory, whatever, right? So let's say, where are you currently? Slash home slash parallels. You would want to go to John. Since we have already seen before that John comes under home and parallels also comes under home. So let's go back to home, our parent directory, and then go to John. See, I'm able to do that because this double dot represents the parent directory, which is slash home, and then it has taken me to the John. What if I say where I am right now is, let's say, slash home slash John. Let's break down this command and see what happens. cd double dot, it takes me to slash home, and now in slash home there are, again, you see the 5 users home directory. Now let's go to Himanshu's one. And I'm able to do that with the help of absolute relative paths. You don't need to use absolute path, no need to always start with slash, because it's kind of a lengthy, but you should know what are the differences between absolute path and relative. That's a wrap for Introduction to Linux and open source. But don't stop here. We have got plenty more episodes coming up in this series. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the next episode. Got questions? Drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to help.